Hello, ladies. Welcome to another live stream. Happy Saturday. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if my mic sounds okay. I'm going to check it on my end. Thank you for joining me. Okay, it sounds good on my end. Hey, everybody. Hey. I'm trying to get in some content before Christmas and next week, and when the holidays get kind of hectic for me. So I'm just trying to get it in while I still can. Hey, hey, hey. So y'all asked me my opinion on this Dr. Simone situation from Married to Medicine. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about Nicolandria's recent interview and photo shoot with Glamour magazine. Then we can, talk about whatever else y'all want to talk about if we have enough time. And before I continue, just an FYI, if you did not know, I do exclusive videos for Neptunian members and patrons. So if you're interested in hearing my strategies and opinions on other trending topics, the links to join are in the description box. Also, if you enjoy my content, be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe. Neptunian members and patrons will be getting a video very soon. I have to edit it and upload it. So yeah, you'll be getting that soon. So stay tuned. I don't watch reality TV, by the way. So I don't know everything that's going on. This is her son, okay? Her two sons and her husband. And this is how her son is already talking to her. He is saying that he wants a new car. He's tired of his Jeep, okay? And then she's like, well, let me go get my iPad so we can discuss the finances. And he's like, oh, well, make sure that whatever you say is not going to make me feed your food to the dog. Like, to me, that's disrespectful. So he already comes off very entitled. Yeah, I would like to know that too, if somebody can answer in the chat. Somebody asked, what does her husband Cecil do for a living? And I would like to know the answer to that question too. So whoever knows, put it in the chat. Because again, I don't watch this show. So I would love to know what he does for a living. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there was a lot of cuts in that clip. And I know they do that, all the time on reality shows, but I am willing to bet that this argument was much worse than what we saw. There were just too many clips. And then it seemed like it jumped from her just kind of talking kind of softly to yelling. And so it was a lot of arguing between that, it sounded like, because she just didn't go from 0 to 10. You get what I'm saying? So, I don't think that we heard all of it, but this woman is clearly exhausted. She has no help. She has no support. She's doing it virtually on her own. I don't know. Somebody said, Cecil is a retired IT tech. I don't know what he does for a living, but apparently he is not the primary breadwinner. I mean, that is very evident in this clip. And this woman is literally exhausted. And this is crazy how I just talked about the infantilizing of Black men and boys on my last live stream. And I was talking about it based on Diddy. And this is another example, completely different situation of what I was talking about. Ladies, when you mammy for Black men and you coddle grown men and baby them too much, this is what you get. This is what you get. You get entitled sons and husbands who want to rest in their femininity while you pay for everything. And you work yourself to death or in an early grave. And they will allow you to do it because deep down, they resent you. All three of these men resent Dr. Simone. They resent her and they don't respect her because she's just allowing them to use her and take advantage of her. Okay? And I have to be honest about Black women like Dr. Simone too. A lot of successful, high-earning Black women, they sign up to be the breadwinners and providers in their relationships and in their marriages because they want to be in control. They want to be in control. They want to be in the driver's seat. And then later on down the line, they get burnt out and they get tired of driving. And that's something that, ladies, we need to talk about. And on the flip side, men like Cecil, they sign up to be emasculated, they sign up to be these kept husbands, and then over time they start to feel inadequate and they resent their wives. And that's where the cheating comes in, either physically or emotionally. And they're usually going to other women who have less than them and make them feel more like a man. That's what Wendy Williams' husband did, remember? And again, like I said earlier, I'm not a reality TV girly at all anymore. So I don't know all of the details about Dr. Simone's marriage, but according to the TikTok girlies, she was going to leave Cecil at one point for emotionally cheating with another woman that he was calling his quote unquote friend. Now, for those of you who watch the show in the chat, like, is that correct? Is that correct that Dr. Simone was going to leave him at one point because he was emotionally cheating? Yeah, see? This is crazy. Like, does this not prove everything we've been saying on this channel for years? I've been saying, like, how many more examples do y'all need? Y'all keep calling me a liar. Y'all keep telling me I'm bashing black men and I'm making stuff up. When we keep getting example after example after example that proves everything I say is correct on this channel. I'm sorry, I'm right. Every time I get an example, I'm going to come up over here and be like, yep, I was right. I was right. Okay, so he's already cheated on her. Oh my God. This is just so fucking ghetto. Oops, hold on. I accidentally opened another video. This is crazy. Yep. Lauren Jackson says, Chrissy, you've been before your time. How long have I been talking about hypogamy, y'all? How long have I been talking about the downsides of hypogamy? And see, this is exactly why I've been saying lately that it's no longer impressive for women to just wave their marriages and their wedding rings in the faces of single women, because we're now getting insight on the quality of these marriages, right? And from what we see, the quality of a lot of these marriages, especially these black love marriages, whether they be high earning marriages, you know, upper class, whatever, low class, it doesn't matter the socioeconomic level or the status. They don't appear to be quality at all, especially black love marriages. The quality appears to be very bad. J. Ray says Cecil was in IT for 20 years and got laid off Coca-Cola doing Rona, and now claims to be a real estate agent, as Dr. Heavenly put it in a house husband. Wow. So he's a house husband, basically. And see that whole, you know, oh, I'm a real estate agent, I'm an entrepreneur. That means that you still trying to get your stuff off the ground. It's really not, you know, off the ground like that. You're really not in business. Your business is not well established. You're not a well established businessman. That's usually what that means. Okay. Somebody in the chat is saying her husband provides. Are you talking about Cecil? So listen, if he provides anything, if he brings money to the household, it's very clear, it's very evident based on that clip that he's not the primary breadwinner. I think we can all agree with that. So yeah, this just proves everything I've said over the years about hypogamous relationships, especially in the black community. These men are not traditional, ladies. The myth of the traditional man, the traditional black man specifically, does not exist. By and large, he does not exist. And this is why it's comical when black men in the manosphere, they come online and they try to make the claim that most of them are just so traditional and they're just waiting on all these traditional black women to fall in line and get with their program. No, most of them don't have a program, okay? For the most part, in these black love relationships, the roles are reversed. The men want to be the kept wives, right? And black women like Simone want to be in control. But then they resent each other when those relationship dynamics, those role reversed relationship dynamics start to play out in the relationship. But it's not a, oh, black men are so patriarchal and it's black women who don't want to get with the program. So therefore, black men are leaving and getting with non black women. That's the narrative that the manosphere will have you to believe. No. Neither gender in the black community are traditional for the most part, including black men. And we're seeing the evidence of that in all of these failed hypogamous marriages or these miserable hypogamous marriages that go viral. And you know what? Dr. Simone's sons are likely going to grow up and be the non-traditional men looking to be kept by women who make more money than them, just like their father did. Doesn't matter what race of women they get with. That's another thing. Like, doesn't matter because they'll say all this stuff. Well, this is why we're going over the fence because non-black women are more traditional. Okay, but in many of those situations too, the woman is paying most of the bills, or they're at the very least going 50-50. The men are not providers. Those non-black women, by and large, usually aren't in hypergamous marriages where the man makes significantly more money. Oh, Hannah says Dr. Simone's sons said they prefer vanilla women. Yeah, so they're gonna, probably seek out white women who make more money than them and who take care of them. That's what they're probably gonna. Those are the relationships they're probably gonna end up in. Y'all are saying, okay, there's some, I guess, disagreements on what Cecil does for a living. Regardless of what he does and what he brings to the table, it's very evident that he doesn't bring as much as Simone. So I think, we should stop arguing about that in the comments. Like, it's very obvious that Simone is pulling, Dr. Simone is pulling most of the weight in this marriage. And that's why she's exhausted. She's tired. Did you hear her voice? Baby, she's exhausted. So, like, I don't think it's useful to be arguing, oh, well, he does provide a little bit. Like, y'all always try to make it a little bit better. When it comes to these black love relationships, you don't want it to be that bad because it kind of ruins your fantasy. So it's like, girl, okay, well, he does provide a little bit. He do, he do give a little bit. Apparently, it ain't a lot. And it ain't enough. If the son said out of his own mouth, look, my mother makes a lot of money. He didn't say nothing about his daddy. He said, my mother. That's what he said. So it's like, y'all, I just need you to accept that this is just how a lot of black men are, y'all. They like being kept in the relationship. That's just what it is. And how many more examples do you need of this? The stories are coming out back to back. We just got done talking about Candy and Todd. Look how many other hypogamous disaster stories we've covered in the past. And see, this is why I can't take black women seriously when a lot of y'all focus only on black women who get scammed or fucked over by white men, because there are just too many examples of black women like Dr. Simone who get with these black men who are basically using them financially in these black love relationships, and they're passing down that behavior to their sons. This is the entitled behavior that their sons were showing in this clip. They learned from their father. And so they did go live, and shout out to, I forget her name, whoever sent me these clips, but shout out to her. But they did go live and talk about this viral clip. So I wanted to go ahead and play that and talk about that too, because a lot was revealed in this clip as well. Again, like, it's too many examples, y'all, for y'all to keep, trying to like debunk me and prove me wrong. I'm always going to come back with another example that proves my points. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, and I'm going to come on here every time and be like, I told you so, because this is just, it's crazy. Let me go ahead and pull up this clip. See, I thought I changed some settings on my mic that would stop it from cutting out. Did my mic just cut out? Oh, wait, let me read this super chat. Jay Ray says Cecil also wasted $20K on a kids force app, another failed business. He also had that female friend / golfing buddy in their house for Christmas for 2 weeks. She lives in the same city. She should have divorced him. So he's not a good businessman. He's investing this money. How much you want to bet that most of the money he's investing on these failed businesses, these flopped businesses, are from Dr. Simone's bank account? So he's just not a good businessman, it sounds like. And then he's also, cheating with other women, whether it's emotionally or physically. It's crazy. Okay, let's play the second clip.
In that moment, what I was saying was basically, help me out. I'm not asking you to pay everything, but pay some of it. You can pay some of it. And I took what she was saying as she wasn't going to pay anything. And we've had conversations about it. And she said she will pay some of it. So we'll just chop that whole big argument up to a miscommunication. We could just leave it at that.
To a little baby and his feelings is what we'll chop it up.
And I'm also going to get this one off.
Does anybody, how old is her son? Does anybody know how old he is? Let me know in the chat.
Because, to be funny, someone commented on my post talking about, or on me and my mom. Hey, Dad, I gotta get this one off. Someone commented on my post talking about, I love how you stood strong, Simone, which we do love. I'm not saying we don't love that. We love that. You were good there. But then she said, I paid for my daughter's undergrad and she paid for the rest. My next question would just be like, if you are going to comment that, you have $1 million. If we gonna play the compare game.
So he's like flexing on his mama's money that's not even his. And he's 22. That's not that old. He's still young. He's still figuring it out. But his attitude is what I don't like. He's still very much entitled. And then look at his dad over there smiling like that. And it's like, I would, if in any other circumstance, I would give him the benefit of doubt and be like, okay, he's young, he's still figuring it out. It makes sense that you're in your early 20s and you may need a little help from your parents still. But the way his dad is grinning and he's just like, yeah, I mean, you got it to help. It's like, girl, this is gonna go way beyond the age of 22. If I had to guess, I'm just going to make a prediction. He's still going to be living off his mama well into his 30s. Because look at his daddy. His daddy is basically the kept wife in the relationship, right? So he's going to still be living off of his mama and she's going to still be helping him when he's well into his 30s. Just watch. He brought up them white kids and talk about how, the parents pay for college and they become millionaires. It's highly likely he's not going to be one of those kids. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Do you have $1 million? I'm just
curious. The only thing that I'm going to say to you, Michael, is that at this age, at this time in my life, I do not have a fully funded retirement account.
No, for sure.
And if I were not...
She does not have... This is stressing me out. This is stressing me the fuck out. How old is Dr. Simone? And if I'm not mistaken, she's a multimillionaire and she doesn't have a fully funded retirement account. How old is Dr. Simone? This is ridiculous. I'm starting to get mad.
Helping to support you and your brother.
Hey,
you all are doing your part now. You're doing your part now. But if I didn't have any children to help support through anything, do you understand that I could go ahead and go home now? Now, I might have to put down Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Dior. I might have to stop shopping. However, I could live comfortably and not have to work at all.
So y'all are saying she's almost in her 60s. That's what it sounds like. And she does not have a fully funded retirement account. As someone who's a doctor and on a national TV show, she makes millions of dollars. I'm quite sure she's a multimillionaire. And she still doesn't have a fully funded retirement account. Let that sink in.
Wait, if what?
If I weren't still helping to support you and your brother.
I used to watch the reality TV when the husbands were back home, and I kind of feel I kind of, for the people who watch Bravo, I kind of feel like Camille Grammer tonight watching the show. And for the people that watch Bravo will know what I'm talking about. But
I watch a lot of Bravo, and I watch Camille Grammer.
Yeah, Jade says, but I was told black boys from 2-parent households were the end all be all. Clock it. Exactly. Because the excuse is always, oh, these single moms are raising the boys, and that's why they turn out fucked up. That's why they turn out effeminate. That's why they don't want to do anything with their lives. Well, look at this situation. And oh, you know what they're going to do next? The goalpost is going to move, and they're going to say, well, I bet Cecil was raised by a single black mother, and that's why he's the way he. It's always going to be the black woman's fault, somehow, some way.
On Housewives of Beverly Hills, explain what you mean by saying you feel like Camille Grammer.
Where Kelsey Grammer basically put her on the show because he was going to get a divorce.
And so you felt like this season you were on the show
tonight,
so that I could
just
get a
tonight.
divorce.
He felt like watching the episode tonight.
Watching the episode tonight and watching it happen live.
He imagined
it's like, oh, I could see how Camille Grammer felt.
Yes, I felt.
And I don't think. I mean, if I were on and I was saying the same thing, if when I had the interview with Carlos King, if I had got on there and said the same stuff that you were saying, you would be hurt. And I think you'd have to admit that.
But what wasn't said with breaking the fourth wall was so irrelevant anyway. And Cecil, to act like that I've never said at all off camera this season about the fact that we were having difficulties. It was getting difficult for me to deal with those difficulties. It's exhausting that you can never see my point of view when dealing with the boys. You throw me under the bus with the boys. You disrespect me when it comes to.
I don't think Dad is saying. I don't think Dad's saying that he.
Well, Camille Grammer was caught completely off base when Kelsey wanted to divorce her.
Fair. He was just saying. He was really just.
And he's basically comparing himself to Camille Grammer, and I just think it's weird. I think it's weird to come on with that analogy.
What basically he's saying is that watching the show tonight, it basically felt like a, what's that called when they put someone on top of the stage and a roast. He basically felt like he was watching the show and getting roasted, basically.
So, like, for example,
but to say that we don't have a roast in real life is weird. Because, again...
He didn't say... But, Mama, see... But,
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying, though, is this, though, Simone. The only thing I'm saying is this. When I do wrong, when I'm not doing something that you feel is off, I think it's fair for you to speak on it. I think you're giving your opinion, and I think that is totally fine. Where I have an issue, though, is that when you speak on and make a comment that, oh, I've been married 29 years, he's not going to do anything. That gave...
But I didn't say that. That is how you took that.
Yeah, you said nothing's going to change. I've been married 29 years.
What he's talking about are my conversations about Contessa and Scott. And how you start the marriage is how it's going to be. So if you never expected gifts, if you never expected birthday gifts, girl, you're not getting them now.
So
I never said that you didn't throw me a party or you don't. You've done amazing for my birthday.
So it sounds like whatever conversation they're talking about, again, I'm not a reality TV person, so I don't know. But whatever conversation they're talking about, then Simone said, well, if your husband doesn't start out doing something, that means he's never going to do it. And the reason why Cecil got offended by that is because he feels inadequate. He feels emasculated in this marriage. He doesn't contribute financially like his wife does. And so he feels insecure. And so he's always going to feel offended by any and every little thing that has to do with finances because he's not the primary breadwinner. So this is his insecurity. This is why I say it doesn't really matter, that he is, providing a little bit here and there or whatever. It's not as much as what Dr. Simone is providing. And that's why he feels insecure.
And maybe it could be that just my speaking, and you're already in your feelings about this episode, that you are taking it in. Just based on everything I'm saying. But I do believe how you start is how you finish. And you... Yeah.
Well,
other people being before me was not new to my marriage.
Well, first off, let me say this. I think that statement is a statement that people say often in relationships, but in relationships, you're not training anyone. you're not going to shape anyone. People are who they are, and people change in relationships. People start off one way
And
turn
some
out
people never change in relationships.
some do and some don't. But if they change, it negates the point that you made. And the point is that someone can change. And all I'm asking the people that are on here, the 450 people on there, when you made the comment, did you take that comment to mean that Cecil ain't doing shit for Simone? I'm asking the people, not how you.
He knows he's not doing enough. That's what this is. That's why he hearing things that weren't even there. Everybody knows in this household that he's not doing enough. And it feels like he's not doing enough because he's not. And so if that's what Simone said, what Dr. Simone said without saying it, that's what it was. Ishay says, to not have a retirement account at her age is insane. The way black girls are raised and black boys are coddled is disturbing. It is very disturbing. Kawanda says, sounds like a scheme set up by Todd. Clearly. This is crazy.
Right, but why are you more, but Cecil, this is what I'm asking you, babe, before I get in my car and head home. Why are you more concerned about what the people think than what was my actual intent?
Man, because he looks like a bitch ass. That's why. That's why, because people are clocking the tea. People are looking at this like you basically the wife in the relationship. And they're looking at it like Dr. Simone is the man in the relationship. That's how people are looking at this, and he feels like a bitch, as he should. As he should.
Well, but I'm not clear on what your intent was. Was your intent on Scott?
These people you don't know ain't paying nary $1 bill in your house.
Yeah, I'm not concerned.
You are concerned. You are concerned. You're asking the people what they think.
Well, but again,
we are on
a live. If you just like come on,
let me do. Hold on.
Come on. But ask the people what they think about the parenting that happened at that table. Ask the people that.
Hey, everyone's argued or had a disagreement with their mother. One, what our disagreement about happens to be different because that's going to pertain to our family. One. Two, we happen to be on a reality TV show for you all to watch and feel obligated to give your opinion.
And we had a real moment on national.
Yeah, and that was a genuine, and something me and my mom talked about. After that moment, me and my mom probably didn't talk for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That was a genuine argument that we hadn't had before. And it happens. That's life. That's our family. I love my mom. We were just in New York having a blast. Me and her, we're just in New York having a blast. In case y'all are wondering, I don't drive a Jeep anymore. I drive a Tesla. So, bow.
Hold on. Don't do that. Wait the fuck a minute. Ugh. So she got him the Tesla? Is that what y'all... Tell me in the chat right now. Did she get him the Tesla? After all that shit, she actually got him another car? Girl...
No, see, now you done stirred up some shit. Now,
don't do that.
My bad.
Now
but we good though. That's the moral. That's the moral. We are good.
And ladies, this is why they never change. This is why her situation is never going to get better. And this is why, you know what? It's like, I was kind of feeling sorry for her for a minute, but you went ahead and got the little nigga a car anyway, so... What was the whole point of that whole explosion and that whole argument if you were going to go ahead and get him the car anyway? And then I'm sure the trip, she probably paid for the trip. So that was probably on her dime too. He's bragging about going to New York. See, this is why they got on the live stream and they think everything is fucking funny. This is why. Because they know that she's just going to holler and yell and get mad and then go right back to coddling them, infantilizing them, and paying for everything. Yeah, she's in too deep at this point. Maddie says marriage benefits the man, not the woman. Yeah, hypogamous marriage benefits the man and not the woman. I want to be clear on that. Because I know some women who are in marriages who are benefiting a lot. Well, on the outside, that's what it looks like. I don't know all the details. But it's like, yeah, if you're pulling most of the weight in the relationship, whether it be financially, domestically, or whatever, if you're doing more of the work in the marriage, in the relationship, then yeah. Yeah, the man gets most of the benefits. And in this situation, she got 3 man babies who are benefiting from this marriage way more than she is, and she's exhausted. Like, after she sat up there on that clip, on the first clip I played, and said, what if I die from exhaustion? What if I die from working so hard? Does anybody care about that? And for them to do a live stream after that, reacting to that clip and laughing about it like it was nothing? Are you kidding me? And these are the black love relationships that they're telling us we should aspire to be in, you guys. These are the relationships that they're bragging about online. A lot of these black women bragging about being in, trying to shame us because we're not in one. This is what they're bragging about. And these are some of the most successful black people in America. The most successful, high earning, quote unquote, high value, upper class black people in this country. And this is what they're dealing with. And they want us to want this. They want us to look at this and be like, ooh, I want that. What about this looks appealing to any single woman right now in the chat? Any single black woman right now? Do you find this relationship dynamic appealing? Do you want to be a grown ass black woman in her damn near in her 60s taking care of a grown man, your husband, taking care of him with his 2 grown sons? Does that sound appealing to you? Does that sound like the type of relationship that you want to be in? Does that sound like happiness to you? Yeah, and so this is why we keep saying, like, it's going to take more at this point. At this point in time, when black women are getting smarter about what kind of men they choose, and we're having these conversations thanks to channels like mine, we're not just going to be looking at the ring anymore. We're not just going to be looking at your marital status. We want to know, what is the quality of the relationship? We want to know who is pulling most of the weight, who is doing most of the work in this relationship, who's paying most of the bills. What's the distribution of labor? We want the answers to all those questions before we idolize your marriage. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing that women have come to that point, come to that place where we're not just blindly idolizing and deifying marriage. I like that we're at this point. J. Ray says, I don't feel bad for her because she was bitter towards Quad for actually leaving her abusive hubby, talking down to Toya for being a stay-at-home mom, and got mad at Heavenly for calling Cecil a Mitch with no job. Wait, what? Girl, hold on. Y'all know I'm not a reality TV girl. So Quad left her husband? Yeah, see, I'm late, y'all. I think the last time I watched Married to Medicine, I don't even really know what was going on, but I'm pretty sure Quad was still married the last time I watched Married to Medicine. So Quad left her abusive husband. Wow. And so, okay, so you're saying that Quad left her abusive husband and her and Dr. Simone aren't cool anymore? And so she's bitter about that because Quad left her husband and she did what she couldn't do? Is that what I'm hearing correctly? And then you're saying that she was talking down to Toya for being a stay-at-home mom. So she was shaming her for being a stay-at-home mom because she's been a mule and a mammy in her marriage. So she resents the wife who's actually a soft life wife and who's in a hypergamous marriage. That's what it sounds like to me. And she got mad at Dr. Heavenly for calling Cecil a Mitch with no job. So basically, it sounds like the women, the other black women on Married to Medicine are clocking her tea, and she's mad at everybody because she is choosing to stay in this situation. No, Dr. Simone, you need to look at yourself. She's mad at herself. That's what this is. She's mad at herself because she has not been strong enough to get herself out of this situation. And every time she it sounds like to me, when she wants to leave, she decides to stay because she wants to stay married. She's, that typical black woman mindset where she's desperate for marriage. Yeah, Goldblum lover, this is going to stay up, yes. This is a sad situation. And see, this again proves my point based on Jay Ray's comment and how Jay Ray is saying that again. I don't watch the show, so y'all are filling in the gaps for me. So thank you for that. But y'all are saying that she's very resentful towards other women who don't have to work as hard as she does in her marriage. And so it proves my point when I talk about all of these miserable wives on YouTube, on TikTok, right, who talk down to hypergamous women or women who aspire to be hypergamous because they're not satisfied in their marriages. So this kind of proves what I also say time and time again about these miserable married women. This is how they act. This is how they act towards other Black women who were either not willing to settle for what they settled for in their marriages or who are simply not struggling in their marriages and who married, you know, more successful men or who were more smart about the men that they chose and who are actually in happy hypergamous relationships. This is why a lot of those miserable married women resent them. So it makes a lot of sense if what Jay Ray is saying is true and she's mad at Quad for leaving her ain't shit nigga and she's mad at Toya for, you know, being in a hypergamous relationship and being a stay-at-home mom and a housewife. Everything I say tracks. I'm saying everything I'm saying is proving me right. Once again, I'm just saying Chrissy was right. I think we need to make a hashtag in this bitch. Hashtag Chrissy was right. Because if this is not everything I say, like, just in your face, like, just everything, it's textbook at this point. It's crazy. Misery loves company. Exactly. And actually, it's not me who actually thought of the idea to make that hashtag. Like, somebody used to put it in the chat all the time under my videos. They'll be like, hashtag Chrissy was right. Or they say, you know, Chrissy Damas, like a play on Nostradamus. But the thing is, like, I don't think I'm special or I don't think I'm, you know, I'm good at predicting the future or anything. I'm just good at pattern recognition. I see the patterns. And once you see the patterns over and over and over again, you come to a certain conclusion. And so it's not anything special about me. It's just that I recognize patterns. That's it. You don't have to, yeah, but see, I'm not a psychic though. You don't have to be a psychic. All you have to do is look at the patterns. And at this point, it's a pattern, y'all. This is not like, you know, one individual situation here and there. This is like multiple relationships, back-to-back examples, back-to-back examples of the same story. It's like the same story over and over and over again. The same exact story. So Jay Ray says, and Simone befriended Quad's ex new wife, helped them get on the show to stick it to Quad, and tried to ask Quad off. Simone comes off very bitter in general. She also bought that condo the boys live in, by the way. Lord, this just sounds like a hypogamous nightmare. This is insane. This is one of the worst case scenarios, in my opinion, I feel like. And she's stuck. It's like she's in too deep. She feel like she can't get out. So you saying Simone befriended Quad's ex new wife, helped them get on the show to stick it to Quad. So she's real bitter about Quad, huh? And try to ask Quad off. Oh wait, y'all saying no sound? Did my mic go out again, girl? Y'all know I gotta, you know, really break down and get a new computer. I've been saying I'm gonna get one for years. And by the way, let me know what computer I should get. Should I just get the new MacBook or what? I get very overwhelmed when it comes time to buy electronics because it's just so many options. So Y'all let me know what computer I should get. Y'all saying y'all can hear me? Okay. Did I go out at all? Yeah, I have HP now. My HP it's lasted a while, but my computer is kind of old, so I need to get something new. Oh, y'all saying people trolling? Is that what it is? Yeah, so okay, it sounds like Dr. Simone is hating on Quad, like y'all said in the chat, because she's a free woman, because she had the courage to leave her abusive, toxic marriage. Good for her, good for Quad. And y'all let me know about Toya. Is Toya because I vaguely remember Toya, but she is married hypergamously, right? Toya. Yeah, girl, I'm learning a lot too. Evane, Evansine, whatever. I'm learning a lot too because I'm not a reality TV girly. So, girl, I don't know about these people like that. Like I remember, again, I used to watch Married to Medicine way back in the day. Okay, Lauren Jackson says yes. Eugene works like a dog. Yeah, Toya is a stay-at-home mom. Toya makes more money now, but definitely was hypergamous. Yeah, I just remember Toya being kind of the more glamorous one, you know. I just remember her being like more of the soft life girly, the more luxury type girly, you know, living in luxury. So I could see why Dr. Simone is both mad at her and Quad. I could see why there would be resentment there because look at her situation. Look at her situation. So this is why I keep telling y'all, like, when y'all see these miserable married women online shitting on hypergamy, there is no reason why a happily married woman, especially a happily married black woman, will find anything wrong with hypergamy. So if you find any married woman online who finds an issue with hypergamy and black women, especially marrying up and enjoying the soft life and enjoying luxury, that's a red flag. You should question their relationship status. You should question the quality of their relationship, the quality of their marriage, because 9 times out of 10, they're probably just not happy. They're probably not happy. They're probably going 50-50, 70-30, you know, paying most of the bills, not married to a provider, married to a dusty, or married to, you know, a man who's average at best, financially average at best. Yeah. So you should always see that as a red flag. Always. Ishay said, Quad a Taurus, just like Candy. The earth sign women don't play. And yes, Dr. Jean takes care of Toya and those boys. See? Good. And this is why I say, like, you have to be specific about, you know, whether it's a hypogamous or a hypergamous marriage. Because in most hypergamous marriages, the ones that are truly hypergamous, where the woman has married up into a situation where she, you know, or to a man that makes significantly more than her, she's generally going to have an easier experience. That's just what it is. Doesn't matter the race of man she marries, she's generally going to have a better experience. That's just what it is. So that's why I will forever be pro hypergamy. I don't care how classist it sounds. I don't care how elitist it sounds. As much as women lose in this society and as much as vulnerable as we are, and because we have so much to lose, I will never be anti-hypergamy. I will never be that. And I will always encourage black women especially to try to be hypergamous, or at the very least, because I'm not stupid, y'all. I'm realistic, okay? I understand that not every woman can be hypergamous. So at the very least, you need to be marrying someone on your level financially and on your education level as well. Because again, Dr. Simone, she couldn't even do that. Like, her husband is not even on her level. It's not even like an equal thing. It's not even 50-50. And it needs to be that at the very least. Otherwise, you're signing up for struggle in some capacity. And this is not even, me saying that Dr. Simone has it the worst. I've definitely seen worse situations, when it comes to black women marrying down. But if she is this successful, to the point to where she has reached multi-millionaire status and she's still this exhausted, she's still this tired, she's still this resentful and bitter of other women who have it easier than her, then that says a lot. Like, if she's this successful and still struggling like this emotionally and physically and mentally as a multimillionaire, I think she's a multimillionaire. Am I correct about that? If not, I know she's up there. You know, she's at least upper class. Even if she's not multi-million, I know she's past, you know, middle class, past upper middle class. She's at least upper class, right? And if we have women in this socioeconomic level still complaining about having to do all the work, what does that say about the women who are lower class? What does that say about the women who are working class in these situations? So all I'm saying is that y'all got to start looking at this stuff at these stories as cautionary tales. And this is why I like to use celebrities as an example, because not because I'm, you know, I think you should look at them as the blueprint and as, you know, an example of what the everyday average person goes through. But if they're going through it, then you need to see that as, oh, this is, if they're going through this at this level in the upper middle class, then what does that say for me as someone who's going to date down or marry down? What is my experience is going to be if this is what they're going through as people in the upper middle class or upper class? So you need to look at these situations and say, well, damn, if they're experiencing this, then my experience is going to be 100 times worse. So I need to avoid that like the plague. That's all I'm saying. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of all these discussions, y'all. That's it. That's the entire point. Like, if this is what it looks like for them, it's going to be 100 times worse for you. And me too, okay? Because I'm closer to y'all than I'm closer to them. Yeah, I'm upper middle class, but I'm not a millionaire. So I'm looking at this shit like, shit, I'm trying to avoid this shit too. And the stats are out there, y'all. When Black women, there was a whole article, I forget who wrote the article, but it was basically about how Black women stay in poverty usually because of the men that they marry, because of the men that they attach themselves to. And so this especially applies to successful Black women. A lot of times we end up staying in poverty or, you know, kind of leveling up and kind of plateauing financially and career-wise because of the men that we attach ourselves to, and because we have babies with those men. So, you know, y'all just need to keep that in mind. Like, nobody's making this up. The numbers say this already. Like, we're not making this up. We're not exaggerating. Like, this is really what's going on. And for the men who are going to say, oh, well, you know, you just need to choose better men. Listen, it's not that many to choose from. It's just not, y'all. Like, and that's another thing y'all keep lying about. Y'all keep acting like there's just these hordes of traditional high earning men in the Black community. It's not. It's not. It's not these hordes of traditional high earning men, high quality men who are just waiting for all of these, you know, submissive, fit, feminine and friendly Black women who want to submit to them. It's not. That's not what's going on. Most of these men are not traditional. The idea of this traditional Black man, or these hordes of traditional Black men, like Toya's husband, for example. I think Toya's husband is her husband Black or is he non-Black? I can't even remember at this point. But like, if he's Black, that's rare, is what I'm saying. That's my point here. Okay, Eugene is Black. Okay, he's Black. And so Black men like that are in the minority, you guys. They're really rare. It's not a bunch of them out there like that. So, you know, y'all need to quit lying about that too. Like, let's be honest. Most of these Black men out here, they are just like Cecil and they want to be kept. That's just the truth. Yeah, or they're colorist. That's a whole nother layer to the equation. You know, you got to worry about them being colorist on top of all that. And so this is why I will continue to try to encourage Black women to expand their options. Because if you want a man who is not colorist, who's high earning, high quality, generous, that's the big one. Because just because you find a high earning man doesn't mean he's about to be generous. A man that, you can vet and hopefully determine that he'll be a good father, all of those things. If you have to vet and weed out all of those men, then it just makes sense to expand your dating pool so you have as many options to choose from as possible. Because, girl, when you start checking off all those boxes and when you start weeding out and narrowing down, you ain't left with that many. And especially Black ones, you're not left with that many. Then you got to factor in the non-Black men who actually like Black women, right? Who actually prefer Black women. You got to factor in all that. So it makes no sense to limit your dating pool down to one group of men or one race of men. It just makes no sense at all. So that's another reason why, you should look at these situations and say, well, this is probably why I should, expand my options and not limit myself to one group of people. Yeah, non-Black men who aren't colorists and everything, aren't racist, aren't colorist. Black men who aren't colorists, high earning, high quality. It's hard to find, somebody who's compatible and a good fit for in any group. Because men are men, right? But especially when you want to be hypergamous, okay? As a successful Black woman. Yeah, I know. Tess says, Chrissy, sometimes we sign up to be breadwinners because the men in our lives aren't willing to take charge. That's true, but then I just feel like that's not a good excuse, because at some point, as we can see with this situation with Dr. Simone and her husband, you're eventually going to become resentful. You're going to grow resentful of that dynamic in your relationship over time. Both parties are going to grow resentful. And look, I'm not saying that it never works out. I'm not saying that hypogamy can't work out if, both parties kind of decondition their minds and, they don't adhere to traditional gender roles and, they block out all the outside noise. I'm not saying that's not possible to do. But for most people, for the average person, they're not going to be able to do that, y'all. That's just what it is. And some of this is biological. Some of it is what we're wired to do as men and women. And so unless you're willing to sit down and, really decondition your minds and throw gender roles out of the window completely, which most men, I'm just going to be honest with you, they're not going to be able to do that, because most men want to feel like men. They want to feel like they're useful. And in this situation, Cecil does not feel useful in his marriage. And so he's never going to be happy. He's never going to be satisfied. He's always going to be taking that out on Simone because he doesn't feel useful. He feels inadequate. And when a man is in a relationship dynamic where the woman is the breadwinner, he's never going to feel useful. Men have to feel useful, ladies. I'm sorry. That's just how they're wired. Yeah, I get it. Most people don't want to be single, but sometimes it's just about you choosing to be single just for a minute, until you find what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Yes. Court says, stop dating down. That's desperation. Yes. Chiquita says, Tabitha Brown's husband doesn't feel useful either. I agree with that. And, their situation's a little different. He started off providing, and then, she ended up retiring him. But I could definitely see him growing resentful over time, too. If he doesn't, at some point contribute as much as Tabitha is. Yeah, I agree. Shanna says, stop staying with potential. Definitely. Yeah, EC Francis says Tabitha be steady bragging about retiring her man as if that's some sort of flex. Yeah. And I just feel like even if she did do that, that shouldn't have been announced. You know, because I feel like that's part of the issue too, sometimes with men. And this is why a lot of women like pretend to like pay for things in their marriage, or I'm sorry, they pretend that the men are paying for things that they're really paying for in the marriage. Because if anybody knew that publicly, it would really bruise the husband's ego. And I just feel like when women start announcing things like that publicly, you know, oh, I retired my husband, oh, I paid for everything, that also adds to them feeling like a bitch. And that's why Dr. Cecil was mentioning like the people, and, you know, and Dr. Simone was like, did I say Dr. Cecil? I meant Cecil, because I don't think he's a doctor, right? So Dr. Simone, and that's why she was saying, well, why do you care about the people? You know, why do you care about them? Why do you care about what they think? Well, because most humans care about what other people think. That's also how humans are wired. We like validation from other people. Like, most humans want validation from other humans. That's just what it is. And so most men want people to think, oh, that's a provider. That's a man who's taking care of his family, his wife and his family. Most men want that reputation. That's just what it is. Now, should humans rely solely on outside validation? No, but that's also what we're wired to do. So, and that's another thing I don't like, when people are like, oh, you should stop wanting validation from, or you should stop wanting outside validation. You shouldn't want validation from other people. That's not how humans are wired, y'all. That's not. We're made to give each other validation. That's just what it is. And so some of this stuff, you know, where people be trying to act like it can just be, you know, you can just, I guess, decondition yourself out of being that way as a person. It's not possible, because that's just not how people are. So not everything is a social construct. Some things are, yes, but not everything is. And I don't care if this sounds, you know, cliche, but men are bigger and more muscular for a reason. They're made to be providers. They're made to build. And so when they don't feel like they're useful, then they start resenting the women that they're with. And that's where you get these kind of situations with Dr. Simone and Cecil. This is how you get those kind of situations. Yeah, Nika says, you've been saying that. I've been saying this for years and years and years. And everybody wants to call me a liar. You want to make it seem like I'm exaggerating, yet I have so many examples. Example after example. And they keep coming. They just keep coming. I can't even keep up with this shit. They just keep coming. And instead of just saying, hey, Chrissy, you're right, you want to try to downplay it. No. You're wrong and I'm right. And you're just going to have to deal with that. Yeah, Jasmine says a lot of black men don't build or provide. No, they don't. And look at how they act. Look at how they act. A lot of this stuff about them wanting black women to submit, down to them, like, you know, celebrating when some black women lost their SNAP benefits and lost their food stamps, because they want to feel useful. This is why they're creating so much chaos in the community. They don't feel useful. They don't feel like men. They know they're not providers. They're conquered. You know, they don't own anything. They don't wield any power. They don't own any resources. They don't control anything. They're the least useful group of men on the planet. I'm not saying that to be mean. That's just facts. And so when you're in that position, of course you're going to feel resentful of the women in your group, and you're going to blame everything on them, as opposed to looking at your own failures, as opposed to looking at yourself and being like, what do I need to do to be a man? But when men don't feel useful and they're not productive and they're not resourceful, that's how they act. They're mad all the time. They're resentful. They blame their women on everything, or they blame everything on their women. That's how man babies act. And that's why personally, I just, you know, they're a turnoff to me now. Like, knowing what I know about black men, the collective of black men, is just, ew. They just turn me off, me personally. I just don't like that mindset. I don't like that. I don't like that non-man effeminate mindset. It's very unattractive to me. And unfortunately, that's how most black men think. They have that mindset. It's just very effeminate. I don't like it. Me personally, I'm attracted to traditional men for the most part. I'm not 100% traditional. I don't think, honestly, I don't think either gender at this point is 100% traditional. So I really kind of don't like using that word. I said that before. But for the most part, I would say I'm attracted to more, traditional minded men. And that's just what it is. And I was talking to my friend about this the other day, but I feel like, and this is something that all women I think need to come to terms with, and I don't know if we ever will, but I feel like if you're attracted to heterosexual, quote unquote, traditional minded men, it require. Okay, how do I say this without sounding fucked up? It's gonna sound fucked up either way. If you're attracted to that, you're gonna be attracted to some form of toxic masculinity. That's just what it is. And I have come to accept that a part of me is attracted to a little bit of toxic masculinity. It just is what it is. Because traditional manhood, for you to be a traditional man, you have to be a little bit toxic. You have to be a little bit misogynistic. That's just what it is. It's misogynistic to think that you can overpower a woman, or you're more powerful, better, stronger, superior, whatever. But men who have a provider mindset, they think like that to some capacity. And I am going to be woman enough to say I like that a little bit. I like a little bit of toxic masculinity. I like that. Because in order for a man to be strong and a provider man, he has to be that a little bit. And when I say a little bit toxic, I'm not talking about abusive and he's beating my ass and all that. I'm not talking about that. And so, I know some women are going to have a problem with me saying that, but that's just the truth. That's just what it is. And we can dive more into that in the future, in another video where I can get real deep into that, because I have a lot of thoughts when it comes to that. Hunter gatherer type. Yeah. You saying you disagree? Listen, for a man to be protective of you and loving, do you realize he has to be willing to die for you? And if a man is willing to die for you and fight for you, do you know what that mindset has to be? He has to be willing to kill for you. Do you know what mindset you have to be willing to kill for somebody? It ain't all pretty sunshine and rainbows, y'all. It's not all lovey, squishy, and lovey-dovey and, soft and sweet. That's not how true provider men are made up. It's just not how they are. Yeah, Miss Concrete Rose says, Christy, a lot of men don't know real men. Yeah, they don't. They really don't. I should say really strong, traditionally masculine men. Y'all don't really understand how they think and how they operate. But yeah, we could definitely get into that in another video, because I just think I've come to the understanding and the realization that if you really truly like those kind of men, especially like successful, ambitious men, they're a little bit toxic. They are, all of them. I'm sorry, they are, y'all. And think about even the ones who are not that way, even the ones who are not ambitious and don't want to do shit, they're still toxic too. It's a man thing. It's just a man thing. And I do feel like they're naturally wired to be that way. I really do. And I'm not saying that women are just perfect, because we have our issues too. I feel like women are naturally wired to be more manipulative because we don't have the physical strength that men have. That's just what it is. Women are more manipulative. That's just what it is. And so I feel like part of us as humans, we need to get out of this mindset that either side is just perfect and that we're just naturally made to be just all good. We're not. Humans are not just perfect and just all made up of everything good. Like, a lot of human nature is bad. You get what I'm saying? And that's just me being a realist, y'all. And I feel like a lot of people don't aren't ready for that kind of conversation. That's all I'm saying. I just don't think we're ready for the real discussions. I don't. No, Selena, manipulative men. I mean, they can be feminine and men can be very manipulative. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying I think women are naturally more sneakier and manipulative. I think we're just better at that. Personally, I think we are. Yeah, Brown Shade says it's evolutionary psychology, guys. Yeah, yeah, the shadow side of human nature. And I said I wanted to start talking more about that anyway. Because I just don't think we're ready for these kind of conversations. You know what? Constance Mercedes says it's sounding like internalized misogyny. Possibly. Possibly. I don't think most women are free of that. Think about it. You have to be a little bit misogynistic, just a little bit, to even want to even say to somebody, and this is where I actually agree with the feminists, okay? Even though I think they're full of shit, I actually agree that when you say dating down and dating up, that is classist. That's elitist, right? And if we're on here saying that men who don't provide, men who don't pay the bills, men who don't do X, Y, and Z, wouldn't that be, isn't that misogynistic a little bit? Think about it. If all of these are social constructs and we're putting these expectations on men, solely on men, wouldn't that automatically be misogynistic? Okay, well then what is it? Tell me what it is. Tell me what you guys label it as. Mm-hmm. Team Frank says most traditional masculine men are going to be a bit possessive over the women they love too. But so many women keep saying they don't want men to show any signs of jealousy. Yeah. Okay, y'all are saying self-preservation is safety, is survival. I just don't know if we can completely separate that from misogyny though. Yeah, like somebody said, like, where's the cutoff? And look, I'm talking to somebody who doesn't have all the answers. So I would like to know where the cutoff is too, ladies. I want to know where the cutoff is. Is the cutoff between safety and self-preservation when you get to the abuse part? Is that the cutoff? Because personally, I don't think you have to be abusive to be misogynist or misogynistic. Personally, I don't. Yeah, Pink Red Brisk says, I want my man to be a little jealous, a little possessive, a little. Listen, and that's what I'm saying. Like, is possessive okay? Do y'all consider somebody to be possessive to ever be a good thing? Is there a good form of possessive, or is all of it just bad? Miss Concrete Rose says, I feel like it's leaning into the aspects of masculine and feminine. Gigi says the cutoff is the mentality of the warrior. Okay, the warrior kills people. The warrior is deadly. Is that bad or good? Okay, Last says I prefer to use protective over possessive. Okay, okay. Listen, I just think we need to be realistic that there's a good and bad to everything. And I don't know if we can want all of these things from men and expect there to be nothing bad there. Y'all are saying no violence. Okay. Okay, no violence towards you, right? But you need him to have a propensity towards violence to protect you. You need him to be willing to be violent towards somebody else. So it still needs to be there. The propensity of violence still needs to be there. Correct or no? Okay. If he's protecting you and your family, right? Okay. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Look, Naisha, I've accepted it. I like a little toxicity too. I do. I just feel like the level of dominance that I like, the level of strength in a man I like, he has to just be a little toxic to have that. I've learned that I cannot separate it. Like some of it has to be there for him to be that way. KK Jones says, "What is he protecting you from? Other men, right? Other men. So if he's protecting you from other men who have the propensity to be to for violence or to be violent, who have the potential to be violent towards you, right? That means that that level of violence exists in both men. They're just using it differently. That's all I'm trying to get y'all to understand. It's not me saying that, a man who has that in him is gonna automatically be violent to you, but what I'm saying is that it's there. He's just choosing not to use that violence towards you. And that's why what we need to accept about men. Some of them they're just like that. Like, and this is what I was trying to tell Joy from TikTok. I'm like, girl, men are just patriarchal naturally. I don't feel like they can. I mean, even we see this with gay men. We see this with biological born males who are trans women. They're like that. They're naturally like controlling and stuff. Like, I don't know if men can completely rid themselves of that. I'm just gonna be honest. Maybe I just don't have enough faith in men. But I don't think they can completely rid themselves of that. It is, Pony and Fish says, this is such a multifaceted conversation. It is. It's so many levels. It can go so deep. That's why I said I would really like to do like a whole stream just about this. Cause girl, cause I had a deep conversation with my friend about this. Yeah, Kiara Jones says I don't think they can either. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I see a lot of y'all putting your thinking caps on though. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, Angie Seaway says, "What's the point of being with a man for real if he won't protect you from other men?" Exactly. That's how I feel about it. Because what you're worthless at this point. If you can't protect me from another man, you're worthless. If you can't provide for me, I don't see the I don't see you being beneficial to my life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is why I say, if this is just how men are, then it just makes more sense to only deal with one when it's worth it, when they are protective and they are providers. That to me is the only way it's worth it. If men are going to be like this, if that's just who they are at their core, then it has to be worth it for me to deal with them. What do you mean pauses in the stream? Is it like going in and out for you, EC? Is the stream going in and out for anybody else? Shelly got back with Ace. Dagger Rose says men at worst are violent, possessive, and fleeting. Women at worst are manipulative, jealous, and hyper competitive. So many more traits I can't fit. I agree. I agree. I mean, we just need to be honest about, the nature of the genders, and how it's impossible for any gender to be all good or all bad. Like, we're both good and bad. That's just the nature of humans, y'all. Okay, JoJo says yes, in and out for me. Miss Cruisin says nope, sounds like your connection. Okay, yeah. I think for most people, my connection is fine. I changed the setting because I was looking up on Chat GPT like why my audio was like cutting in and out on OBS, and so I changed the I don't forgot what it's called, y'all. Is it I don't remember, but I had to change the setting, and I hope that helped. I'm gonna after when I listen back to this, I'll see if it actually helped. But yeah. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk more about the shadow of human nature and different genders and stuff in another live stream. I'm really fascinated by that shit. Like, it's because it can get real deep, you know. I definitely want to talk more about that. And you guys can give me your thoughts. You know, and I feel like it's okay not to have all the answers, y'all. I'm not saying that everything I say is 100% correct, okay? So don't curse me out, you know, just give me your opinions or whatever, and we can definitely talk about it. Because I feel like I'm still learning and evolving too, you know, as far as my understanding of the genders, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's very complex. It is. But yeah, so I think I'm done with this topic with whole Dr. Simone and Cecil. Girl, I can't feel bad for her because it's like, girl, she keeps infantilizing and coddling these men. But I hope eventually she gets the strength to leave, and that's pretty much all I got. I don't have nothing else. Hopefully, we won't be doing another update like this. Hopefully, the next update on Dr. Simone and Cecil, if things continue down this path, hopefully the next update is a divorce. I'm just gonna be honest, because if this man has been cheating and he's also not bringing enough to the table, and you know, basically both him and their sons are just leeching off her, it's time to walk. I'm sorry, it's time to walk, and that's just it. Yeah, she's too male centered. Exactly. Yeah, deep bunk. I've been live for almost an hour and a half, honey. This is gonna stay up, so you can go back and listen to it. Yeah. Ishay says you definitely gave me something to think about with the misogyny part. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's move on to Nicolandria. Nicolandria. Listen, when I saw this, you know, I understood why, or I'm gonna say this. I came to the understanding of how one could become a Nicolandrian. Because they're just so cute. You know, it's just like you look at them and you be like, oh, it's just cute. You know what I'm saying? And then I grabbed this clip, you know, so I could play this. Now, I don't want to play the sound because, again, you know how copyright is, y'all. Let me see. But I just think they are just too cute. Look at them. They are so cute. And all the shit people were talking, and they were like, oh, they won't make it by Christmas. They're going to be broken up. And then for them to come out with a whole spread, Christmas spread for Glamour magazine. Iconic. So strategic. Top tier. I just love, like, I don't know if they have a publicist or somebody who's like, I don't know if they're just listening to the conversation, or they have somebody like, you know, strategizing for them, but they're playing this out so well. They're doing this so good, and I hope they don't mess it up. Like, the way they're just strategically rolling out all of these collaborations and brand deals is genius, and I love it. I think it's so cute. I just love the optics. I love the optics of it all, and I just think they're just adorable. And Ola, she just always looks so good. The fashion is always just so on point. And you know what I really loved about this photo shoot? I think that Nick is starting to look a little bit more grown man. I really like that. I like that he's starting to look just a little bit more mature, because he can sometimes give off like juvenile, compared to Ola. You know what I mean? She seems a lot more mature than him, but he's starting to look like he's growing up a little bit. Oh wait, the sound was playing from the video? Y'all heard the music? Oh my god, I thought I muted it. Well, hopefully I don't get a copyright. Dang, the sound was how did y'all hear the sound? I thought I muted it. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all said it was loud. I'm sorry. That's funny. And I was just talking. I was just talking over the shit. I'm sorry. My bad, y'all. My bad. Okay, sorry about that. I tried to mute it. I'm probably gonna get a copyright, so I might have to mute that part after this stream is over. Sorry, y'all. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I don't get a copyright. Not a strike, but a copyright notice. Girl, cause if you play something, they be trying to take all your money from the damn video. It's just crazy. Miss Patron said I couldn't hear the music. Oh Lord. No, that wasn't my sound. That was actually Glamour magazine. That was their music. Y'all said yeah with some nice elevator Christmas music. That is hilarious. I can't. Well, it could still be copyrighted. Yeah, even if they use generic music, it could still be copyrighted. Girl, it's just so crazy how the copyright laws are and how the rules to that are. It's just crazy. And then it's like some of them they'll share revenue with you, but some people, like if you play 10 seconds of their music, they want to take revenue from the whole video. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, I just think that they're so cute, and I love the way they're playing, this whole optics game, the whole marketing game. I just love the way they're playing it. And I just love that we're getting some Christmas corrective promotion, and I love that. And I love that even though we have some of, terrible optics of dark-skinned women in the media right now, I can talk about so many bad optics and so much dark-skinned woman promotion that's the opposite of corrective promotion. But I think it's important to highlight when we're getting the good stuff. This is good. This is corrective promotion. This is what you call corrective promotion. Now, like I said before, I definitely think that Ola needs to start wearing her natural hair a little bit more, or natural textured weave. That would just take it over the top. So Ola, if you're listening, take some notes. In one of your photo shoots, please put some natural looking weave in your hair, or wear your natural hair. We need to see you in a kinky hairstyle. To me, that would just take her over the top. That would take the shit over the top. But either way, I just love the corrective promotion that she's getting, and I love how she's representing for the dark-skinned women. And we always, I feel like my haters who hate on corrective promotion, they're always like, oh, well, white men are promoting you poorly, and why don't you address white men? Well, as you can see, when we get corrective promotion, we're also getting that from white men too. Do the haters understand that? Like, when we actually get corrective promotion as dark-skinned women, most of the time, it's not coming from black men. It's coming from non-black people. Specifically, platforms and businesses and corporations that white men own. So let's not leave that part out, okay? White men are doing the black man's job when it comes to putting Nicolandria on. Oop. Let's clock it. I'm just saying. And this is not me worshiping white men, putting them on a pedestal. But if we want to talk about how white men are portraying dark-skinned women and black women in the media, yeah, we can call that out. We can call out the racism. But we also have to call out that when black women are being promoted correctly, it's also being done by white men. Yeah. So let's just be honest about that. Okay? Most of these corporations giving Ola opportunities owned by white men. Not black men, white men. So all I'm saying is, If you're gonna blame that on, blame one thing on white men, you have to blame them for everything that they're responsible for too, the good and the bad. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, I think she looks good in straight hair too, for sure. Yeah, I just want to see more variety. Yeah, I don't actually mind the straight hair, but I just want to see more, variety. That's all. But either way, like, I just think they're stunning. They're a stunning couple. Like, optics wise, visually, they just look so good, so good, and they be shutting the haters up so quick. Like, it seems like as soon as like a scandal comes out about them, they pop out with a new ad. I just love that. I love that so much. It's so funny. And it's like, as soon as I think as soon as the haters be like, oh, they're fake, they're not real. And, maybe some of the Nicolandrians kind of lose hope, maybe. And then they pop out with another ad, and then all of a sudden the Nicolandrians are like, oh my it's just so funny. It's just so funny. And the suspense, like, I just feel like it's such a good marketing strategy too, because it leaves so many of the fans in suspense. It's like, oh, what are they gonna do next? And oh, they've been quiet for a minute. It's like, it's so genius the way they're doing it, because they're like tapping on people's curiosity, and it's just so good. It's so good the way they're doing it. So strategic. I love it. Yeah. And Landria said on Twitter or on X, she said she got more coming in 2026. So I'm just waiting to see what else she got, what else they got up their sleeve, either whether it's with by herself or with Nick. Like, I want to see both. I'm loving all of it. And I think it's also has been a good balance of a Landria by herself and a Landria with Nick. Like, that's also been a good balance. Like, a lot of times, I think most of the time, we see her being promoted by herself. And then all of a sudden, she'll just pop out with Nick. It's just so cute. It just keeps the people talking. I love that. It just keeps people interested. I just think that's so smart. Yeah, they're the it couple for sure. For sure. Wow. Pseudo Chick says, Alandria says she's booked until May. I know that's right. Period. Period. Yeah, she has such a good team behind her. I'm loving it. I agree. Crystal says we need more black women to move like her for real. Now, only thing I want Alandria to stop doing is talking about how her relationship is saving the world. Yeah, we don't need that. I don't want her to do a bunch of personal interviews, like something cute, something slight, because they did some interviews with Glamour magazine where they were just kind of talking randomly about certain stuff. Something slight, not too personal, not too deep. And then just pop out occasionally, like she's been popping out. That's perfect. We don't need these long, drawn out conversations talking about interracial dating, talking about the community, talking about how you saving the world. We don't need that. We don't really need that. So she can keep that part. But I'll let her have that one. But we don't need anything else like that again. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. We don't need, hair ads with weave, with wigs, where you detangling wigs. We don't need that either. But, I'll let her have a few mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. So, it's okay for her to slip up every now and then. I think that as far as her promotion has been thus far, the good has absolutely weighed out the bad. Right? It's more pros than cons when it comes to her corrective promotion. Definitely. So, I won't be too hard on her about that other stuff. Agreed. Pink Lady says agreed, but I love how her relationship doesn't define her. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you can tell she's good on her own, but she'll lean into that, those relationship optics for the Nicolandrians a little bit. But, she'll pull back and then, start promoting, sharing her promotion or being promoted by herself. I love that. I love it. Yeah, Morbid says, so far she has a 90% success rate. We'll just ignore those little oopsies. Right. Marketing oopsies. Oh, Kate says she has posted her natural hair pressed out before too. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, and I'm looking to see more from Shelly. I hope that she are y'all saying she got back with Ace? I hope not. I don't know if that was just somebody talking in the chat or that's a rumor or if that's true or whatever. Yeah, Shanette says they've done very well to diversify away from Peacock and Love Island. Child, I forgot they were there. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, Ola is growing her brand outside of Love Island. Like, she's literally about to be just her own celebrity, her own entity where it's like you don't even connect her to Love Island or connect her to reality TV. Like, that's another thing she's done very strategically. Another very smart thing that she's done. She used Love Island as a bridge. You know, she used that as a way to catapult her into the industry. She just didn't rely on that. She didn't stay there. She didn't stay in reality television. You know, she used that as a branch to get to the mainstream. And that's how you're supposed to me, that's the smartest way to use reality television, you know? Yeah, I think that Shelly needs better PR too. I agree with that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bree Robinson says I love hearing about her advancing her branding and opportunities. Absolutely. Well, yeah, Miss Felix Cata says that's what the girls were saying, Chrissy, but you said black women shouldn't go on there. Well, because how many Alandrias do we get? Just because I say that she used this opportunity wisely, that doesn't mean she's not rare. I mean, Olandria got as far as she did because she's Olandria and she has a good team behind her. She's very smart about it. But look at all the bullshit she had to go through. And then also, I don't think that that is normal case scenario for everybody. Like, this is best case scenario. Olandria's best case scenario. Now, if most black women who left shows like Love Island ended up like Olandria, then yeah, I'd be like, okay, go on there. But I don't see the success rate being that high. So that's the only reason why I said don't go on there. Now, if everybody was elevating and advancing like Olandria, then I would say, hell yeah, okay, go on there. But I don't see that as of right now. Olandria, that was a special case scenario. That was like rare. That's something that doesn't normally happen. That's why it surprised everybody because I mean they were banking on her failing. They sabotage her. They try to get her to fail. And normally when they do that on these reality TV shows, it works. But it just so happened not to work with Alandria. So I mean, I guess you could say, okay, go on there if you intentionally plan on playing it out like Alandria did, but how how likely is that? I guess would be my question. How likely is that? And is it worth more black women constantly get humiliated on these shows for a maybe? Maybe you'll end up like Alandria. Maybe. I don't know if it's worth it. So, we have to put everything in context. I get what you were saying, Miss Felix Caddis, but we have to kind of draw it all the way out and think it all the way through. Yeah, they have to. I mean, most people that they cast to go on Love Island have that look. Most of them are very attractive people, so I don't think that would be a problem. But you just gotta play it good. You gotta play it well. So, yeah. La Princess says it was fate. Yeah, Kink says, Chrissy, I see you address everything under the sun, and I'm glad you cleared that, Joy chick. Yeah, girl. She was just doing to after I saw that she had all those videos mentioning me on TikTok, I said, no, I'm addressing this bitch because this is too much. I'll let people slide. I let people slide a lot, y'all. I don't address a lot of things. I ignore a lot. But if I see you're constantly lying on me and spreading the narrative over and over and over again, eventually I'm going to address you. Eventually I will. Now, I've learned too over the years that some of the more narcissistic personalities who like going back and forth and who kind of get a kick off of trolling me, I'll ignore them. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of to keep answering them and going back and forth with them. So eventually I'll just completely ignore them and kind of use the gray rock method. And a lot of this stuff, like once I'm done with it, I don't even listen to their content anymore. Like a lot of my ops, y'all will be like, oh, such and such is still talking about, I'm like, I don't know, because I already addressed them and I've moved on. So some of these people that I address, it's like I kind of just, after I address them once or twice, I just kind of move on. So, oh yeah, King says single Landria and an afro hairstyle would be top tier. Oh my god, and to me, I think that would be another strategy she could put in her playbook because a lot of people want to see that. And so that could be another conversation starter. If she pops out with an ad like with this big afro wig or something like that, oh my god, she would break the internet again. Like the black girls will be talking. They will be like, oh my god, did you see her afro? Did you see her hair? Especially us on this side. We're going to talk about that. So I think that would be another way for her to just, continue to keep herself relevant. Just pop out with all these looks that nobody's expecting. And Ola, she's a Gemini. So Geminis are good for that. Geminis are good for just switching it up and surprising people and keeping people interested. So I think we'll probably see that down the line. I do think we'll see something like that for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or something like even if it's straight, just something like a blowout straight that looks like, her natural hair. That would be good too. Or just her natural hair, period. It doesn't have to be a wig. I'm just saying like it because it seems like she likes long hair. So if you want something longer than your natural hair, then just get, something that mimics your hair texture, just longer. They have the technology now. I mean, Kim Kimble can make her a wig. You know what I mean? Somebody can make her a wig, a natural hair wig, and it'll be too cute. Yeah. Wait, what y'all arguing about? Okay, so did y'all say Shelly getting back with Ace? Is that a rumor or is it true? Did I miss the answer in the chat? Because I want to know if that's true. Okay, y'all, no arguing in the chat. I don't know what y'all arguing about, but stop. Oh, Miss Concrete Rose says it's a rumor. Okay. Oh, and then Whiny Mary says, it's unfortunately true. She said they're private now. It's on her Twitter. I guess, girl. I guess. Whatever, Miss Shelley. Well, either way, she posted a statement on Twitter. They said Shelly herself said it. Okay, well, I guess she hasn't learned yet. I doubt that it'll last. They'll probably break up again. I hope that Shelly can figure out a way to better capitalize off of her experience or her opportunities like Ola's doing and get more spotlight with or without Ace. Like I hope that she and her team can figure out how to do that a little bit better. Even though, she's been getting good brand deals too. But we want to see her shine too. Yeah, Whiny Mary says Shelly needs a better team. I'm starting to think so too. Kink says, seeing Alandria with a kinky coily updo or a kinky straight ponytail would eat. I agree. I would love to see her in that. That would be so tea. Girl, what? Dagger Rose and whoever's arguing with them, why are y'all arguing in the chat? What's going on? Yeah, but I just want to say that I just think they're cute and I don't know. I can't say that I'm fully a Nicolandrian, but I understand. I understand. They're cute. They're cutie patooties. They're cute. They're cute. But yeah, so anyway, like I was saying earlier, I have some content coming up for Neptunian members and patrons. So if you're interested in listening, make sure you join. The links to join are in the description box. I have to edit the video, but it'll be out soon. So look out for that. If you guys have any other requests, you can send them to askchrissy@gmail.com. I'm still a little bit behind on my emails, but I am catching up. I have some emails from last week. Like I kind of have a habit of like looking at the newest ones first, so I can get these hot topics out the way. But there are some older topics that I want to try to get to next week that I want to talk about that you guys want me to talk about. So I'm going to try to do that. Now, next week for me is going to be busy because of Christmas, but I'm going to try to get in as much content as I can. I'm definitely going to prioritize the Neptunian members and patrons. So y'all will definitely get a video next week. But I'm going to be honest, I don't know about a public video. You might get some, you might not. I was thinking about maybe I could do some shorts next week, to kind of try to stay active on the channel. But it's going to be busy for me around Christmas and New Year. Yeah, because I got a lot of plans, y'all. I got a lot of plans. I'm hosting with my mom for Christmas, as we always do. I'm going to a Christmas party. I'm going to a New Year's Eve thing. So I have a lot to do next week. And that's why I try to, be active this week. Because I know next week, I'm probably going to disappear for a minute. Again, I might do some shorts or something, try to stay a little bit visible, but your girl gonna be busy, okay? And I forgot to tell y'all, I am doing some new stuff for my website. So that's another thing. I won't tell you what it is. It's not gonna be videos though. It's gonna be something totally different. I got something totally different planned for my website. Some strategy stuff, some good stuff, something different. Y'all, I have really been like, I guess kind of accepting the Gemini part of me. I'm a Cancer, but I have a lot of Gemini placements, a lot of Gemini mercurial energy in my chart. And I'm accepting that I need variety. Okay. I need variety. I need newness. I need to be doing new shit a lot. I get bored very easily. And so I just like to work on new things. And I know some people are asking me like, when are you coming out with some new content for the website? We want to see some new videos. But the truth is like, I'm just tired of doing those kind of videos. And so I was like, what if I do something different and offer something that I've never offered before on my website? And so that's what I'm working on. You'll see what it is probably next year. I'm just gonna be honest with you because it's gonna take a minute for me to do. If I actually do it the way that I want to do it. And so I'm thinking about trying to launch it around the new zodiac year. So meaning when the sun is in Aries. Maybe start then, or even maybe on my birthday, like my personal new year. I don't know, but I know it's going to take a while to make. So yeah, but I am working on that too. I'm working on some new stuff for the site. I just didn't abandon the site. For those of you who are wondering. Yeah, Bree Robinson said in spring. Yeah, exactly. The new year, the actual new year in spring. Yeah, so that's really kind of when I want to launch it, but I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's going to work out that way, but just know that you have something coming next year that's going to be on the website. Just know that. I can't give you an exact date, but it is coming. Beautiful me says Gemini brings that fresh air. Yeah. And it's a bad quality to have sometimes when you get bored too quick. But I just noticed me, like, I can't, even if I say the same things over and over in my video, like, I have to do it in a different way still, if that makes sense. I have to present it in a different way. And that's how I noticed too, like, even with trending topics, like, I went back to trending topics because it's just more interesting to me. It's more interesting to talk about the same concepts in a different situation because the nuance is going to be different. So it still keeps that newness, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Does it make sense? I mean, even when it comes to, like, I'm getting tired of this pink background. Like, I'm about to go try to look at some stuff and try to find some new backgrounds for my live stream. I change my logo a lot. Like, I just need constant change to be happy in life. You know what I'm saying? I just need constant change. That's all. Girl, what are they tussling about in the comments? Y'all still arguing? Yeah, Dagger Rose says spring really is the new year and it feels like the actual new year. I agree, it does. That's why a lot of people say spring cleaning. And everything you want to start everything fresh in the springtime. That's why. Cuz that's the actual new year. I'm never one of those people like that in January that's like, ooh, I want to start something new. Ooh, my New Year's resolution. I never feel that way in January. But that's because I'm a Cancer. And so I feel that way in July when my birthday comes around. That's when I feel like starting new stuff. Or again in the spring. Like, those are my two times where I start new things. Though that's when I actually start my New Year's resolutions. Yeah. Okay, how did we get on granola bars, Selena? What's going on? What are y'all talking about? Island Girl says, Christy, can you do some content on meal prep and weight loss? Girl, I that's boring to me. I don't know. That's boring. And I actually I've said before, I get my meals from Herculean. I think they ship nationwide all over the US. Um so that's where I get my meal prepped meals. And they're really, really good at you can get your protein in really good with those meals. And they're good. They actually taste good. Now you might have to add a little bit of pepper here and there, but that's how I keep my weight under control. I buy my meals. I don't do a lot of meal prepping. I cook sometimes, like I cook, a little breakfast here and there, but for the most part, baby, I outsource all that shit because I don't have time. I don't have time to be cooking all the time. I don't have time to do that. It takes up too much time. I got too much work to do, okay? And it's very simple, you guys. I don't have any special weight loss tricks. I just work out 5 days a week. 20, 30 minutes of cardio every time. I do weights about 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week. So it's nothing special, I burn more calories than I take in. So I just don't, I don't know. I'm not one of those girlies who likes making weight loss content. That's just not my thing. But yeah, I just explained to you my regimen, Miss Concrete Rose. And you can, I usually use like the elliptical and sometimes the treadmill if I actually go out to the gym. But they have workouts online. Just type in here on YouTube, you can type in 20-minute walk exercises. Oh, that's another thing. I try to get in 10,000 steps a day. That's another thing. And the way I do that, being a homebody, girl, I will literally go outside of my apartment and walk up and down the stairs. Now, I live on a very high floor, so I've never actually walked all the way up from the first floor to my floor. But I'll walk like, 5 flights, just up and down the steps. That's how I get my steps in. Personally, and I live in the city, so I'm not saying it's not safe, but I don't know. It's just not safe enough for me to feel comfortable to actually walk around downtown and be running downtown and stuff. So I don't prefer to do it that way. I just kind of just walk up and down the steps, flights of steps, or just walk around the amenity area in my apartment. That's when I'm actually home and I don't go to the gym. But yeah, if you want some advice, y'all, it starts in the kitchen. Like, I'm trying to tell you, it starts with your diet. Like, you can literally, I don't recommend this, but you can literally, like, freaking just go on a diet and not work out at all and lose weight. Okay? Like, what is the saying? I think they said 80% of weight loss is your diet. 80%. That's 80% of how you're going to lose weight is to make sure you're eating the right things. So if you need some help, you get a dietitian. If you can't afford a dietitian, get some, order some meals. Or that's another thing you can look up online on YouTube. You can look up how to meal prep and what to make. You can look up your macros on what is it, MyFitnessPal? Like, there's just so many free resources available where you can find all that stuff. I'm not an expert, so just make sure you go out and research the stuff on your own, because everybody's body is different. Everything, doesn't work for everybody. And everybody also doesn't like doing the things that other people do. Some people, I know my mentor, she be going out, she hikes. She likes to hike. Me personally, I don't like to hike. I don't like bugs. I don't like being in the wilderness, in the forest, in the trees. Bitch, I don't particularly like that. But that's how she gets her steps in. She goes on hikes. So it's just different for everybody, Miss Cruisen says, not true, Chrissy. If you are peri or menopausal, food alone won't do it. Oh, well, strength training is important for all women. Okay. Well, see, I'm not in that phase of life, that menopause phase of life. So, I haven't experienced that. But for me, food, definitely just cutting out my calories, just, or replacing one meal with a protein shake, that does it for me, But I could see it being probably harder to lose weight when you're in menopause. I could see that for sure. Yeah. Oh, Bree Robinson says, I love solo hiking. Wow. Solo hiking, girl. Okay. Do your thing, girl. Do your thing. I know that's right. Yeah, Selena says, I burn more calories when I walk outside. I do too. Yeah. It is easier to get more steps in when you're like just out in the world. It is easy. And you know what else I do too sometimes? I'll put on my Fitbit. I know I feel like I'm old and outdated because I don't have a Apple Watch, okay? I still use my Fitbit, okay? You can judge me. I still use my Fitbit and it still works. It's still one of them old ones too. It still works, okay? But I'll put on my Fitbit when I'm cleaning. Do you realize how many steps you can get in from cleaning? That shit is insane. Put on your Apple Watch or your Fitbit and calculate your steps or the calories you burn while you're cleaning. You will be blown away. And I'm talking about like when you have the deep clean, like say you're cleaning up your whole apartment or your whole house and you take a couple or a few hours to do it. You will burn hella calories. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Bree Robinson said Fitbit is the GOAT. Thank you. Girl, my friends, couple of my friends who are, the fitness girlies, they try to make fun of me because I still use my Fitbit and I don't have an Apple Watch. I don't want an Apple Watch. I don't see the purpose of getting an Apple Watch other than just to use to work out. Do they serve any other purpose? I just can't justify spending that much money on an Apple Watch. I just can't justify it right now. Maybe I need to look into it and see what else an Apple Watch does. But I'm first of all, I'm not a watch person. That's the first thing. I mean, I guess if you're a watch person and and you like watches, and I will say they do have some cute cases for the watches. Like I've seen some really cute, like girly, cute little cases or whatever. But I just can't justify the price. I know that's right, Selena. Now that's a good idea. I might ask a man to buy me one, so I don't have to pay for it. I can't justify spending my own money on an Apple Watch. Let me say that. Miss Cruzan says Apple Watch is too nosy and distracting when you are in Pilates or yoga. Really? Yeah, I just haven't. I can't. I haven't seen anything so impressive about an Apple Watch for me to want to buy one. Oh, really? Selena says I think they even track blood pressure too. Oh, well, that's interesting. Hmm. Hmm. Is it accurate though? That's another thing you got to think about. Like, are the numbers accurate? I don't know. Miss Cruzen says they're overrated in my opinion. I have one. I wear it every day. Yeah, I know some people. I think I'm probably the only friend in my friend group that doesn't have an Apple Watch. I'm the only one who still uses the Fitbit when we go work out. I'm the only person. Ooh, good for you. Deep Bunk says I'm down to 170 pounds though, so running is easier now. Yeah. I'm definitely not a runner. I don't know. I guess for me, it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I've seen too many true crime stories, okay? But I just be thinking about them girls that be getting snatched up like during their workouts and running around everywhere. Like, I don't know. I'm just a little too paranoid for that. I ain't trying to be getting snatched up. And I know, when I had a trainer at one point back in the day, I was running then, but we were just running laps around the gym. So it really wasn't the same. I don't know. I would have to choose like a really, really safe location to run. And even then, that's not always guaranteed. But I be seeing the girlies running and it's like, okay. Yeah, I prefer to get my 10,000 steps in. And I also, like I said, I use the elliptical too. The elliptical is my favorite. That's my favorite way to get cardio. And I'll just get on the elliptical and I'll either watch a movie or watch something that's at least 30 minutes long. Or if I'm trying to get in heavy cardio, I'll watch one for like a movie, a whole movie. Oh, Deep Bunk says, you missed my last comment, Chrissy. I don't run out and about either after a homeless man threw a glass bottle at my direction. I stay in gym only. Wow. And see, that's why I said, because I live in the city, I live downtown. It's a lot of homeless people around. And I'm not saying that all of them are dangerous, or anything like that, but you know how it can be sometimes. Like you said, one of them threw a glass bottle at you. Sometimes they can be crazy. And even sometimes, and I do walk to certain places around my area. Like the place where I get my nails done is like 2 blocks away, so I will walk to places like that. But even when I do walk to different places, like, and I encounter some homeless people, again, not all, but some of them, they're just really weird, especially the men. And y'all know how some of them can be. They be trying to like talk to you and get all close to you and stuff. And that's why I said I carry my firearm everywhere. I don't play that. I do not play that. Everywhere I go and walk, I carry my pew pew, honey. I carry my petunia. That's my bitch. But it's just too crazy out here, you know. And even my mom, my family, they are just completely against me walking anywhere downtown in my neighborhood. They don't want me going anywhere. And it's not even that a bunch of crime happens down here, but you know, it's enough. It's enough. And I just I don't trust it like that. But they don't even like me walking to my nail salon. Undecided between Apple Watch or Aura Ring. Whoop Fitness Band. I like Apple Watch, but I don't know how Apple Watch clashes with OOTD. I'll have to look into those other things. Unique American says, Chrissy, when you get a chance, can you make a live on demons in the church? Not demons in the church. Lord. It's a lot of them in the church, though. It is. And maybe we can talk about that one day. Okay, y'all. Anyway, I was supposed to get off like, what, half an hour ago? But this was fun. This was a good live stream. Again, I don't know how active I'll be next week, but I'll try. So, yeah, you guys have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Enjoy your holiday. Be safe. And don't do too much. Don't be mammying too much for your family and your friends and your man. Let other people do some stuff. Don't do all the work. Outsource if you need to. Get some help. Put them men in your life to use. Kids or whoever. Put them all to use. Make them work for the holidays, okay? Don't do all the work. But I love y'all and happy holidays. And I'll talk to you soon. Like, share, and subscribe. Love you. Bye.